Hello, everyone, and welcome to the International Wrestling Podcast here on YouTube, IWPC 316. And today is a very special day for many, many reasons. One, today is the one-year anniversary of our first show that originally went up on Lisbon. And, you know, I've lost track of the number of episodes we've done, but today is the actual one-year anniversary of the show. Another special thing on the show is my co-host and I are actually together on a podcast again. We've actually done a couple podcasts apart and with other people. And we're back together again. I know looking at it on YouTube, there's only been one show in between, but there's been a couple shows in between because I did one with Justin Davis on his website. Of course, Gerald did a hour and 20 minutes with Roy Zambrano for the TNA lockdown preview. But we are glad to be back, and unfortunately, Gerald suffered a freak masturbatory injury and is stoned off his ass with Vicodin, and he is not all the way here. So I apologize in advance for anything that comes out of his mouth during the show. We love Gerald, so we're going to put up with it just this once while he channels his inner Greg House. So, anyway, welcome to the show.
Well, greetings.
Greetings. Yes.
Greetings, wrestling zombie.
Yes. That was a long time ago. So
I was trying to be nostalgic, wrestling zombie. That was your first name, wasn't it? I used to call you that for 2 or 3 shows.
At Wrestle Zombie, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's changed, I think, about 45 times, so.
It didn't change that much, did it?
It feels like it. Between all the different Twitter accounts we've created, between the Blind Gowitz account and WWE Shop Pillion, IWPC Zombie, the Brad Maxwell, I think is what it is now. I don't even use Twitter anymore. So, shows where we've gone in a year. So, kind of got bored with Twitter.
Yeah, I don't actually go on Twitter anymore because if you say something, people eat the head off in no matter if it's pro or con. The worst is John Cena and CM Punk marks. I always say I'm a CM Punk fan, but I'm not a CM Punk mark.
Yeah,
if you dare criticize the almighty Phil Brooks, you will pay for it with your very soul.
Yeah, and he'll call you a vagina. You know. But no,
I don't mind him saying stuff to me, because if at least he's creative and a small bit funny, his fans are just like, you're a dickhead. Ha ha ha.
Well, the problem I have with...
puts LOL on the end of their own tweets is a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
You are not funny if you think you're funny yourself.
Well, the problem I've actually got with Twitter now is that the celebrities that you can tweet with, most of them you don't know if it's them or somebody running the account. Most of the people that talk to the quote-unquote famous people on there don't want you talking to them because, you know, you might interrupt their Twitter conversation with, you know, whatever. But, you know, and the ones that are there, you know, all they're used to getting is, you know, their buttholes licked that, you know, you're the greatest wrestler of all time. Case in point, Matt Morgan, where basically I said, you know, it's sad that a promotional photo of him standing next to a mayor holding a TNA world title is as close as TNA is going to let him get to the belt, which is a real shame. And Matt Morgan took it that I was saying he would never be world heavyweight champion and blocked me on Twitter.
He won't be, because Matt Morgan will get a push and WWE will come call and Matt Morgan will go beep beep.
Yeah. But I mean, I seriously like Matt Morgan, and I got blocked by Matt Morgan because I said it's a shame TNA won't give him the title.
But you got blocked by Shawn Michaels, which is one of your crowd of the cheapest.
That was great.
Yeah. Don't forget, people, if you ever get blocked by somebody, that means they actually took the time and energy to look at your account and to block you.
Yeah. So, I think all I told Sean was, don't block me homo or something like that, you know, or don't call me homo or something, during that whole Rogaine thing. So.
Now, didn't he block someone for you saying homo or something like that? Wasn't that the big joke?
Yeah, he called somebody a homo, and I just thought it'd be funny. They had a wrestler that was going bald or something, and I was like, Sean, do you think you could send so-and-so some of your Just for Men? Please don't call me homo, hashtag. And I got blocked. So.
Yeah, I didn't got blocked by one person, and that person still pisses me off to this day, because I called that fella as something and he's using it on t-shirts.
Hostel.
That is an IWPC original quote. And that cunt is using it on t-shirts.
Yeah. And the funniest part of all that is he was following me until I mentioned it on the show that Charlie Haas was following me. And then he stopped following me.
Yeah, I must actually, Paulo, he must actually get some great blowjobs, because he must have sucked his way to the top of Ring of Honor so fast.
Well, Shelton left him behind, so...
Well, there's only so long you can carry someone. Like, Shelton Benjamin should be going for the top title, and Charlie Haas should be cleaning out the arena at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And I say this, and I'm going to say it again, every single time we bring up Charlie Haas. If you think I'm overreacting, Charlie Haas put his own brother in the fucking ground.
Yeah. I have good news. This is our anniversary show. The Angry Video Game Nerd has a new video out.
Really?
Yeah.
What's
if
this
you
one
brought, If you brought it up on another show that he hasn't been producing any videos in a while.
The last one he did one Christmas, wasn't it?
No, he's had, in 2013, this is the third game to come out. So apparently he's on a once a month schedule. He brought Kyle Justin back, and they played the Corey Warriors. It's kind of funny. So.
Yeah, I'm really not looking forward to that movie.
His movie?
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's just maybe I'd be proven wrong, but it just does not look good. You're talking to someone here that liked rubber.
In other IWPC news, Zack Ryder's in the news.
What did he do?
Apparently he tweeted a photo of ring trunks to the newly created Vince McMahon Twitter account. That's still yet to make a Twitter tweet. A picture of his trunks. And to follow up, CM Punk squashed Zack Ryder at a live event. So
Yeah. See, I don't feel sorry for Zack Ryder, and I explained this on many occasions, but since this is the anniversary in the Raw preview, I will explain it again in great detail. The reason I am so sick of Zack Ryder is when he got a push, he forgot the fans. Simple as that. He forgot the fans. He barely went on Twitter when he was getting his push. He was used in the most god-awful storyline ever. He had fucking momentum back then. He should have used it to... It just still pisses me off that he was willing to be used to get John Cena and Eve Torres over. And then when WWE was done with that, he was like, oh shit, I'm not on the WrestleMania card. Back to the sheep!
Yeah. Well, apparently CM Punk has been relegated to fighting Zack Ryder now. That's the big news here. Because Rey Mysterio's out of action with his good knee as hurt. Kofi Kingston's off doing promotional work. So it left nobody for CM Punk to fight Friday and Saturday night live events. So they put him up against Zack Ryder's. Fans in attendance noted Punk squashed Ryder, who got in zero offense at all. I didn't know Zack Ryder had any offensive moves. And Punk ended the match by crossing Ryder's arms over his chest and mocking The Undertaker's pin. It's a house show, folks. Who cares?
Yeah, they could be doing something like they're going to make CM Punk look very strong going into WrestleMania. But yet again, why put him up against Zack Ryder?
Chris Jericho returned to action last night in Broomfield, Colorado, defeating Dolph Ziggler in what fans called Match of the Night.
Shocker.
Yeah.
That needs to happen at WrestleMania. I'm sorry, that match needs to happen.
Yeah. And your main event for the Broomfield, Colorado show was John Cena, Ryback, and Sheamus beating The Shield in the main event. in which Cena, following the match, flew to Austin, Texas for the South by Southwest panel, landed at 3 a.m. After the panel ended at 11 a.m., he flew to Brunfield in time for the live event. So,
and don't forget, he was there with Michael Cole.
Yeah, he flew from Colorado Springs after Friday night's events, landed in Austin, Texas at 3 a.m., did a panel until 11 a.m. I don't know what time that panel started. I guess it's an hour panel. And then flew to Brunfield, Colorado for last night's live event. Folks, he was flying. He probably slept the whole time. It's not like that's a very busy schedule.
No, I'm sorry. When I went to WrestleMania 25, I flew at 7 o'clock at night from Newark. I got into Dublin, which is 3 hours drive from where I live, at 7 a.m. I drove straight back with my dad. My dad came up to collect me, and I went into work at 11 o'clock that day. And I worked until 10 o'clock that night, and then I went out to play a darts game.
Yeah. In my own defense, the 26th of this month, I fly out of New Orleans to Phoenix at 6 o'clock in the morning. I land at 10 o'clock, and because I have a brief layover in Houston, and I have an 11 o'clock promotion to do, which will last until 5 p.m. The following morning, I have to be up and do the same promotion again, starting at 7 all day long, and then I fly home the following day at 5 p.m. in the afternoon. You don't see me getting my own headline on, janitorial websites. It's your fucking job, Cena. Who frickin' who?
Yeah.
Maybe if you didn't take all the limelight away from everybody and let somebody else get some promotional rubs, you wouldn't have this problem, Cena, that you have to fly here and there and everywhere else. You don't hear The Miz bitching that he's in Russia promoting WWE's return, then turns around and flies in, does Monday Night Raw, then flies right back to Russia. I guarantee you that's a longer flight than Colorado Springs to Austin, Texas. And he's probably not flying on a private jet.
No, he's probably fucking not. And the funny thing about it is that John Cena marks will go on like he's the only guy that does anything in the world. As my biggest problem always has been, yeah, John Cena does all this, but so does everyone else in the back.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. It's like, most John Cena fans will go and say, oh, you have to respect him for the work and the PR he does. What do you think of CM Punk? Oh, well, he sucks.
Yeah.
Like, why? Oh, because he does this and does that. He's like, dude, he does the exact same promotion work John Cena does. So why do I have to respect John Cena for the promotion work, but yeah, you're not going to respect CM Punk when he does the same things? And it's not just CM Punk, it's Dolph Ziggler as well, and it's The Miz when he was heel. Why do we have, like, when I hear Jerry Lawler every single Monday night go on, oh, you have to respect John Cena. Bullshit. And then he turns around. He has the nerve to turn around and say he doesn't respect Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, that's because Jerry Lawler
is a prick.
He tries to live like this is still 1985, where, the commentators love the heels or love the faces and hate the heels. So, we're ready to move on.
Jerry Lawler needs to go back heel.
We're ready to move on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, congratulations to Michael Cole for getting worst announcer for 4 years in a row off the pro wrestling industry.
Woohoo!
Michael Cole must be so happy. And TNA actually got worst promotion. First time in 3 years, WWE didn't get it.
That's because the past 3 years TNA hasn't been a promotion. Hi-yo! We noted before WWE...
Well, we're down to 54 fans anyway on the page.
Yeah, well, as soon as Aaron Goins deletes his other Facebook account, we'll be down a couple more. We noted before WWE assigned Swedish Arm Wrestling Champion Sarah Backman to a developmental deal. She revealed on Twitter she'll be headed to NXT this summer when her visa is ready. Do you think this is at least a step forward that we're getting a quote-unquote athlete in the Divas division instead of a bikini model?
It's a step forward, but not the right step forward.
She's kind of hot. She's got some big arms, though.
Yeah, I actually have to congratulate Omen from Ireland, who actually got a developmental deal with WWE.
Yeah, I was going to get there in a minute. Stephanie McMahon revealed at this weekend's South by Southwest event they have changed plans for WrestleMania 29 YouTube pre-show this year. Not only will the pre-show be 1 hour for WrestleMania, but it will have more interactive features, and the fans will be able to vote on stipulations or a match that will affect the pay-per-view later that night.
What the what? But the what?
Stephanie?
No, I am sorry. All this fan interaction stuff I can buy. Okay, I leave it go because I don't really give a shit. But you're going to tell me that the biggest show of the year is going to come down to some kids that are fucking peeing in their PJs?
That apparently are not at the event anyway because, you know, it's hard to watch a 1 hour streaming live video off YouTube at your home internet, much less on your smartphone. So, yeah. Apparently, one match will be a fans pick stipulation. It'll probably be whatever legend match they have. So, or it could be the Shield versus two guys, and we get to pick the third guy.
So pretty much we get to pick the destiny of a WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
We get to pick. It's not us, kids. Because that's usually who votes on these shitty things.
Yeah, pretty much.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Is this coming from the same girl who said her dad gave an inspirational speech about that you have to move along with the times? Hey, you know what? Fuck it. The whole of WrestleMania should be fan access. The whole lot of it should be fan access. Who do you think should leave the ring first? Who do you think should make the first entrance? Who do you think should be the referee for this epic confrontation?
Why not do that with Royal Rumble and let the fans pick the order?
Because that makes sense.
You ready to move on?
Sure.
Dustin Goldust Rhodes is
Move on!
Have you heard the quote yet? Because it's actually a good quote.
If this is something now about him going on about Jesus and the Baptist, I don't give a shit. I'm sick and tired of him going on about Bible quotes.
No, it's not. In reference to Cody Rhodes, Cody doesn't see the big picture sometimes, but he's growing. Sometimes they, WWE, get a little hot and cold with Cody. I just wish they would make up with their minds. And then Dustin added that his brother is the only person left in the business he wants to face at WrestleMania. Will we see this match?
No.
Ever?
No. Oh, we might see it, but we won't see it at a WrestleMania.
Dustin versus Cody once in a lifetime.
No, we probably see it. They'll probably do some blast from the past SmackDown or some stupid crap like that, or some interactive Raw. But at a WrestleMania, not a chance.
They want to do it at WrestleMania, and if they do, will they get Dusty involved? That Dusty will be the referee or in capacity?
I'm sorry, but people that are calling out for this are the same guys that saying that Chris Jericho and The Rock are taking spots up at WrestleMania.
Yeah, just like Roddy Piper and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and the guy from The Wrestler. They were all taking up spots a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, I always feel sorry for Chris Jericho. What a waste of a WrestleMania. And that's when Jericho was actually doing some awesome stuff in the ring.
Dead Man Down had a horrible weekend opening.
I don't get that. It actually looks a good film.
It did look like a... well, actually, it may not have done. It says WWE Studios' Dead Man Down didn't do too well at the box office on opening weekend. It's projected to do around $5.3 million for 2,188 theaters. The official numbers will be out later. That's not bad if it brought in $5 million for a Colin Farrell flick, seeing how Colin Farrell hasn't been around that much lately.
Oh yeah, old Colin Farrell did was Total Recall.
Yeah, well...
Here's a question for you, because I can't answer this. I actually cannot answer this. Was this being promoted big in America? Was it on... Did you ever just watch a television show and an ad for this came on?
I saw... During The Walking Dead, they commercialized it, and Yeah, that's about it. I broke it down, dividing 5.3 million divided by 2,188 theaters. That means it only brought in $2,422 per theater. So I guess that would not be a good thing.
No, that's not a good thing, because that's pretty much a national fucking release.
Yeah. At $7.50 a ticket, that's only 322 people per theater saw it.
Yeah, so what that pretty much means is that the first day you probably had a sold out cinema, and the rest of the days was pretty fucking nobody.
Yeah. Well, I remember Zack and Mary Make a Porno, the Kevin Smith movie. It only brought in like $2 million its opening weekend, and that had what's his name from the 40-Year Virgin, Seth Rogen, in it. So it did better than Zack and Mary Make a Porno.
What kind of world is this that it didn't do better than Cop-Out, though?
Yeah. And I know people are upset at me for only talking about WWE news. I want to get into TNA news and the big swerve. I'm just building up to it, folks. I'm actually kind of enjoying Gerald letting me just read the news since he's stoned. And at least he's not trying to talk about John Cena fucking a chicken again.
Yeah, that's a weird pre-show conversation.
Yeah, the show that never will be brought up again.
I'm actually really trying not to go over the top. I know there's been moments in this show where I have gone over the top, but I'm actually really trying not to.
Alright, let's get to it, okay? Since it's not a spoiler, I know you haven't watched Lockdown yet. Bully Ray became the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion at tonight's Lockdown pay-per-view by defeating Jeff Hardy in the main event. Ray got the win after reuniting with Devon and revealing himself to be president of Aces and Eights. Following which, Ray cut a heel promo and turned on Hulk Hogan and his storyline wife Brooke Hogan, telling them that he used Hulk and screwed Brooke. Alright, this is going to be a two-part question. First question is, who on this show came up with the idea of Bully Ray being revealed to be in charge of Aces and Eights? That's the first part. You want to answer that?
You, but I agreed with you.
I know. I'm tired of seeing people act like this was a new concept, seeing how I brought it up over a month ago. And second, should Brooke have been brought into Aces and Eights with Bully Ray?
Can I answer that? Can I answer that and then give you a question?
Sure.
Yeah, personally, I think she should have, because you will get white teeth off a Brooke. People will be legitimately pissed, and you will get white teeth off it. Now, the question I gotta ask you, do you think Bully Ray really screwed Brooke?
Possibly.
Do you think Hogan ever screwed Brooke?
If he has not had sex with Brooke Hogan, I'm at least willing to bet he's masturbated to her and, had some incest thoughts.
And people, for anyone that's new to our show and probably think we're two sick fucks, let me explain this. I don't have a child, but if I had a daughter, I don't think I'd be dating someone that looks exactly like her. I mean exactly like her. And I do not think I'd be tweeting out pictures of her legs saying, Brooke legs, Yeah. So we're not the sick fucks here.
I still, to this day, think that was someone hacked his phone. And just picked up his phone and took the photo and posted it as him, as kind of like a backstage rib. But can you entertain the people for just a minute before you ask me your question? I've got to step away for just a second.
I asked you two questions.
What was the second question?
I can't remember.
I don't remember a second question, so think of another one and talk about something for a minute. I have to step away. I'll give you this. Jeff Hardy suffered a legitimate concussion when Bully Ray powerbombed him from the top rope in their TNA World Heavyweight title match at last night's Lockdown pay-per-view. This coming off Hardy signing another big deal with TNA. Do you think Hardy's faking it, or is this legitimate?
How would you fake a concussion? You're going to be checked by doctors. When you go into the back, they're going to fucking check you. It's not like you can just walk up and say, "Oh, well, I have a concussion."
Because he's a drug addict and he may be going for pills. I mean, there's ways of faking even a concussion. You lie about your symptoms. But
not really, because your eye coordination and like when I was doing the wrestling thing, there was a guy that on our show had a concussion, and when he went to get checked, you can't fake some of them things. Your reaction time, number one, you cannot fake that. You cannot fake your reflex, which they do check. And honestly, why would you fake having a concussion? Honestly, that's just the most. If you want painkillers, surely, like, a concussion is not that serious. The Miz finished a WrestleMania match with a concussion, and he was wrestling 3 days later. The only reason he didn't wrestle on Raw is he was never scheduled in to wrestle, because anyone that main events WrestleMania usually doesn't wrestle the next night on Raw. So if he got a concussion off a powerbomb, he should be grand today. It would hurt like hell, but still he'd be grand.
Well, that wasn't actually my real question anyway. I was wondering, because I posted this up on the Facebook page earlier, facebook.com/international podcast, I think is what we have it at this week. Do you think it's hypocritical that when someone gets hurt in WWE, it's the wrestler's fault, but when someone in TNA does it, it's, TNA needs to start caring about their employees and take care of them?
To a certain degree, yes. I think it is a bit hypocritical to a certain degree. There's a lot of moves in WWE that's bad, that should be banned in TNA.
Like pile drivers?
To a certain degree, yes. I can understand why CM Punk did that to John Cena, because he was trying to send a message to The Undertaker. It's all that. It's like when he cut the promo the other night, he started going on about legacy and about this and that, and then the pile drive. It happens all the time in wrestling where the seeds are planted. No, some of the moves off the top rope that TNA do, it's like, remember Sin Cara's finishing move off the top rope? That was awesome, but they banned it. Everyone was like, why the fuck did WWE ban that? It was awesome. Because when you're jumping up in the air at that height, you could be training 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You're not going to have 100% accuracy.
Yeah.
And TNA, let's face it, at times leave people do some really stupid fucking things. But here's the big thing. If someone tells you to do something absolutely stupid and you think it's dangerous, you can kind of say no. So, like, these guys are willing to do it. I guarantee they know the 10 times they asked to do it. But TNA then should really sit down and say, you know what, listen, it would be an awesome spot, but it's just too dangerous.
Yeah.
But what I really think of TNA, and I've been saying this before, is I don't really think a lot is... I think a lot of the people in the back don't know the business as well.
Are we ready to move on from TNA?
Just to finish, listen, what I mean by that is that the top person in the back is Dixie Carter. My mother knows as much about wrestling as Dixie Carter. So how can she know if something's going to be absolutely crazy or something's not safe? And I guarantee you most people would run to her with an idea when they know that a road agent would say not a hope.
Yep.
Like, the only thing Dixie Carter got out of TNA that she liked is that she got to make out with AJ Styles, which I still say was the only reason for that fucking storyline.
Speaking of AJ Styles, she's supposed to return this Thursday.
Yeah, I already had a 10-minute rant about that with Roy. I do not really want to go into how stupid that is. That he was not on your biggest attendance show of all time.
Okay. Well, this is going to be old news, which, it's me. Former Warner Brothers executive Eric Panowski is no longer WWE's head of creative and development, according to former WWE writer Court Bauer on his Twitter page. This is the guy that replaced Gerwitz.
Yeah, did you not see the application? I went on about this again with Roy. They had this big, huge application to go for this job. And it was nothing about, are you passionate about wrestling? Or do you like wrestling? It was all like, oh yeah, you have to have this college degree and have this creative writing course done. It's like, dude, you're looking for someone to write wrestling and to pick you up. Most people that come in from college and have all these degrees are just looking at that as a job. There's no passion. There's no, like, the way you should apply for that job is like, listen, here's 3 wrestlers, write 3 storylines.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm not that educated. I never went to college. But I tell you, if I ever got a job writing for WWE, I would put my heart and fucking soul into it. I would put more time and effort in than any of them jack-offs do.
Yep.
And that's what you need. You need someone that's going to be passionate about the wrestling. You need someone that's going to go home and sit down and think about storylines and think about ideas. Not someone to go home and turns around to his gold-digging wife and say, how was work? Who cares, whatever. What's on TV?
Yeah. Well, do you think with Gerwitz getting such a high-profile thing writing for The Rock right now, this will be what it takes to put Gerwitz back in charge in WWE?
Personally, I was never a big hater of Gorwin's.
I wasn't either.
I know we made fun of him, but I was never a really big hater of Gorwin's. Like, some of the stuff The Rock has been doing has been okay this year compared to last year. Like, the only thing I really loved last year was when he walked around Boston.
Well, the whole reason we had the Golwitz character here on the IWPC was, one, it's a well-known name, and I could go over the top trying to do a I don't even know what the guy's from Boston or New York or where even the guy's from or what he sounds like. To me, he was just a New Yorker, that I could do the worst New York accent ever.
Yeah,
Had the guy been Bill Jones, we probably wouldn't ever bring him up. But with Gerwitz, we could play it over the top. So
the one thing I do not get, and this is what bothers me the most, they sack a head writer, 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out from WrestleMania?
Well, apparently there was some issues with him where he and Vince were not seeing eye to eye. I know that comes as a shock.
But Vince disagreed with somebody.
Yeah, so they fired him.
Now, here's a big question, and this is probably the biggest. We used to have 3-minute questions, and I'm going to bring it back for the anniversary show, and Brian, you're going to go first. You have 3 minutes or 3 minutes only to give an answer and explanation to this question. Should Vince McMahon step down, and why?
Yes, Vince McMahon should step down from the WWE. Maybe not all the way together. They can keep him on as a recurring character sometimes, as a public face or whatever. But they need to kind of get Vince to take opinions from other people a little bit more and stop the dictatorness at WWE, because times have passed Vince. The fact that Vince has a Twitter account now, finally, after they've been promoting Twitter for what feels like 3 or 4 years, and he's still yet to even make a tweet on it, just kind of proves he's moved on. So, but yeah, I don't know how much time I got left. Panowski was described as not knowing how to deal with personalities while in a position that required him to deal with a lot of different personalities. There were a few incidents where he and some of the wrestlers got into argument over what would work and wouldn't work on WWE TV. It was described as a Hollywood mindset, not adapting to the pro wrestling mindset, instead tried to force the opposite. Nobody was surprised by the change, but some were surprised it happened before WrestleMania.
Yeah, I get that. I get what they're going on about, but why are they sending out an application form and asking for all these stupid things again? That you have to have creative writing, you have to have a college degree and all this stuff. Aren't they just pretty much looking for the same kind of person yet again?
Well, Vince Russo. And I know you're already cringing because I said, Vince Russo's name. You know what Vince Russo did before he got into the wrestling business?
What?
He ran a video store. He owned a series of video stores in the Brooklyn area. And all he did all day was watch movies and come up with, his own movies and ideas. And eventually he went to work for WWE, working for their online newspaper magazine type thing, and eventually made it to creative. And Vince Russo can come up with a bunch of good ideas. Maybe that's what they're hoping for, is that they'll get somebody out of Hollywood that's heard 4 million ideas that have been pitched, and none of them will work for Hollywood, but maybe something will stick. So,
why can't they bring in rest?
To be honest, WWE should look over at the front row of Monday Night Raw sometimes and grab that guy in the blue shirt and the red hat and say, "Come on with us. We want to hear what your ideas for a show."
Not a hope. He's a
I know about the racist stuff with Shelton Benjamin.
Not just that, but he's just a complete mark. I talked to him in Texas. He knows as much about wrestling as he knows about fucking dressing right.
Yeah, but he could have been playing with you too. So, but I'm just saying, there's millions and millions of fans. Use tout. Hey, somebody come up with a great idea. 15 seconds, pitch us an idea. And, see where that goes. And, you might find somebody.
Honestly, you look at how tough times are in America. If you did something like that on Tout or Twitter and said, listen, come up with an idea, and if we like it, we will pay you $500.
Pitch us an idea in 15 seconds. If we like it, we'll bring you up and talk to you, and you might win a $100,000 contract. Stuff like that.
Not like, oh yeah.
But now you're doing tout, and you're putting on a wrestling audience, so you're getting wrestling fans to agree with it. Or
all right, you want to talk about that? Let's go back to the Attitude Era. I know a lot of people go on about the Attitude Era at the start. There was a lot of bad stuff in the Attitude Era, I would agree. But that was the highest point for one reason and one reason only. Because they knew what the fans wanted, and they gave it to them. You look at who was on that board. You had Vince Russo, Pat Patterson,
Jim Cornette.
3 guys from very different backgrounds.
Yeah.
But they all knew what the fans wanted. Jim Cornette would book brilliant wrestling feuds. Pat Patterson would book brilliant wrestling matches. And Vince Russo would book the over-the-top Jerry Springer kind of storylines that kept all of the young people interested.
And they were not afraid to go to a internet wrestling website that had forums and go read what people thought.
Yeah.
And another thing,
they weren't afraid to tell Vince McMahon no.
No, the other thing is internet wrestling, the Dungeons and Dragons style. I don't know what you even call it. An online e-federation were huge during the Attitude Era on like AOL.com. You had all these people just putting gold out there for how they would book their character. And, all it took was someone going, hey, change, Rusty Blades, some little e-fed guy to, Billy Gunn, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it worked.
You want to know how good the Attitude Era is? Look at somebody like Val Venus and The Godfather. These 2 guys in particular. These 2 guys, they're fuck all in the business. But yet, you remember them. You used to talk about them. In 10 years' time, are you going to remember mid-carders? You're on your fuck. You're not going to...
Zack Ryder will always be a punchline.
Yeah, he will be a punchline. But I'm not talking about Zack Ryder, because Zack Ryder did get he got over a small bit. But like, you look at the Usos. Who's going to talk about the Usos? Who's going to talk about Primo and Epico?
Kurt Hawkins,
Tyler Rex. Who's going to talk about these guys in 10 years' time? Nobody. But yeah, I can still remember Crash Holly. I can still remember Val Venus. I can still remember The Godfather. I remember Spike Dudley. I remember so much of these guys that just went out and entertained. Too cool. Remember them. The warm and the dancing. Like, hey, you know what was so good about the Attitude Era, and I will always stand over this until the day I die. They made it fun to watch it.
Yeah.
Sometimes Monday Night Raw, as good as it can be sometimes, it's still not fun. Everything is taken way too seriously. They write every single storyline like it's life or death. Like, I'm sorry, but you look at Randy Orton, Triple H. If I handcuffed Brian's wife and then made out with her, while Brian was handcuffed to the other thing, Brian, would we be friends 2 years later?
No.
But yet 2 years later, Triple H and Randy Orton were in the ring making fun with each other.
Yeah.
You know, I know, like, wrestling moves on and stuff like that, but seriously, when you do, it's like McMahon and Austin. That made sense because Austin lost his fucking mind.
Yeah.
But, like, they never forgot what happened with each other. It's like Austin lost his mind, but McMahon never forgot what Austin did. Like, I couldn't believe it 2 years after it. Randy Orton gave Stephanie a DDT off the second rope, had Triple H handcuffed to the rope, made out with Stephanie, and 2 years later, they're in the ring having a joke.
Yeah.
Seriously? When you do something like that, it has to be forever, because as much as wrestling's made up and everything, it's still stupid to do something like that.
Yeah. Oh,
You want a preview tonight?
We got 3 news bits first, and then we can preview tonight. Irish wrestlers Joey Cabray, Omen, and Rachel St. Clair have signed developmental deals with WWE. Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
Good.
Good for them?
Yeah, good for them. They're good.
Okay, I'm going to remember you said that because you know it's coming next. It would appear the wrestler known as El Generico will be going forward without his popular character in WWE as he competed without his mask and a new character name.
Yeah, I just like to point out, what I meant by that is that Joe is, I haven't seen much of him, but from what I heard of people on the wrestling scene, he's a stand-up guy, and he is good in the ring from what I've seen. Will he keep his character for him? Hell fucking no. But and everyone's giving out about this guy losing his mask. I'm just going to say it straight out. WWE do not want anyone keeping their own character, because if someone blows up, they want to hold all trademarks and all of that shit for the character, because then if they fuck off again, they still own all the rights. It's like, look at the battle that Paul here. CM Punk wasn't used on OVW for nearly 6 weeks because Paul Heyman was fighting with WWE management just for him to keep the CM Punk name.
Yeah. Brian Danielson.
There you go.
Yeah. No offense, folks. El Generico is kind of a retarded name. The mask was kind of stupid, too, so it's not that big a deal, folks.
I think he should have kept the mask. If it wasn't the mask from Mexico, at least give him a new mask.
Yeah. But they didn't want a white guy wearing a mask. For whatever reason in WWE. So, although reading his real name is what he is going by, Rami Sabai, Ramisebai.
You know the strange thing about it is, everyone's going on about the mask. Nobody's going on how this guy performed in the match.
Yeah.
Shouldn't that really be the main talking point?
And our final bit of news, there is a petition on whitehouse.gov at the moment to designate May 20th as Macho Man Randy Savage Day.
Yeah, there's also a petition to legalize weed, and you know how far that's after going.
Yeah, well, it has to reach 100,000 signatures within, I think, like 30 or 60 days of being posted on the website. For the White House will acknowledge it if it gets 100,000 signatures.
And how much is it on now?
I don't know the current count. I can find that out. But Macho Man Randy Savage was a national treasure loved by everyone who watched him on television or knew him personally except Vince McMahon. No wonder if you knew him from Slim Jim commercials or his wrestling careers or for raping Stephanie at 16. You felt a deep connection with Savage. Tragically, the world lost him on May 20th, 2011. This petition is to set aside that day every year as a celebration and remembrance of the Macho Man's life and keep his legacy alive for future generations to appreciate and enjoy.
I wonder will WWE acknowledge Macho Man Randy Savage Day if it does come off?
No, he'll automatically go in the Hall of Fame there. So.
They would act completely over the top about this. I guarantee if that never ever happens, it won't be acknowledged once. If that gets to go ahead, WWE won't shut up about it.
Yeah. No, because then they'll just want to turn John Cena's birthday into a national holiday. Alright.
It's John Cena Day, motherfuckers.
Alright. Now, we can either do our fan acknowledgement now, or we can do fan acknowledgement to end the show.
I think we do end the show because people are egotistic, so they're just going to hang on to the end of the show to hear their own name.
Okay. 5 talking points for WWE Monday Night Raw tonight, airing March 11, 2013. How will Big Show react to the Shield?
Don't care.
How will CM Punk try to get under the Undertaker's skin?
All bear.
What do Rhodes Scholars have in plan for the New Age Outlaws staring at the lights above the ring? Any comments from you on that one?
Don't care.
Don't care. Does Brock Lesnar have sinister plans in store for Triple H?
Don't care.
Will he break his arm a third time?
I don't care.
Don't care either. And will Dang go?
I don't care. And apparently WWE Creative don't care either.
No, I have to ask. Will we get Justin Roberts versus Fandango at WrestleMania?
No, we're going to get him at WrestleMania 30. They're going to build this up over 14 months.
Okay.
The once in a lifetime match. Fandango versus Justin Roberts live from the Superdome.
Yeah, because he will not wrestle until his name is said right. While it's a stupid gimmick of being a ballroom dancer, you've got to admit it's at least funny to watch him with the announcers trying to say his name right and then just like, nope, I'm leaving. It's like, I suck in the ring, this is a stupid character. Let's do something else to get us over with, you know?
You know, honestly, I think they could have got this guy over big time if they aired all the video on it, if he came out to the ring, danced like that, and then just grabbed the microphone and just turned around. This is stupid.
Well, I've been saying for a while it should have been like Dustin Runnels did with the 7 character in WCW, where he walked to the ring, you know, after weeks and weeks of promos and goes, "This is retarded. I hope you enjoyed this because you will never see this 7 character again."
Yeah, but the reason he did that is because they had no idea what to do with the 7 character.
Yeah, well, until he went to TNA and pretty much did the 7 character over again. Was it
Black
Relic?
Remnants.
Was it Relic?
Black Renin or something like that, wasn't it?
I forgot what Black Rain?
Black Rain, there we go.
Black Rain and Relic, which was Killer spelled backwards.
Okay.
And the reason we know it's Killer spelled backwards, Mike Tenay told us every 5 seconds that Relic was Killer spelled backwards.
What about with Abyss's old manager? His name escapes me. Apparently he's after signing with World Wrestling Entertainment.
James Mitchell?
Yeah.
So, I saw something kind of cool for the end of the CM Punk Undertaker match. It was a fan fiction that at the end of the match, the lights should go out and you could hear like a recording of Paul Bearer doing the "oh yes" or whatever, and then Kane is standing in the ring corner holding the urn. Would be kind of fitting. And then, you know, after Taker won, him and Kane could, you know, point up to the sky or whatever.
Yeah, I actually heard a fan fiction that pretty much similar is that the lights go out, Paul Bear says, "oh yes," and lights come on and Paul Bear stand in the middle of the ring. A bit insensitive, may I say so.
Yeah. Would Daryl Dixon have to come shoot him with a crossbow?
Yeah, WWE. Well, they take advantage of everything else. Why not make WWE into a zombie wasteland? Bring Kevin Nash back.
They do that during October. They always do it.
Why can't we have a match between Kevin Nash and fucking Rey Mysterio? And just imagine the stipulation. Who could go the longest without injuring themselves?
No, you do Vince McMahon versus Triple H versus Kevin Nash, new quad on a pole match.
And then halfway through the match, Rey Mysterio will hop from the crowd and steal it.
Yeah.
I just better than Sledgehammer on a pole match.
Congratulations go out to JBL. He reached the summit of, I'm not even going to try to read it, nicknamed Mount Death in Argentina.
Oh, did he make it, actually?
He made it to the summit. So far, this is, I think, the third mountain he's climbed, and the second one he's gotten all the way to the top.
You know, I met JBL before, and I can actually tell you he's a dickhead, but all of the work he does for these kids' organisations, I would actually give him fierce props for, because he does a lot of hard stuff. Like this mountain, apparently, because I was listening to himself on Michael Cole's radio show, which I do recommend people check out, because it's actually funny to hear these guys actually talk seriously for an hour. This is actually a very hard mountain. Apparently, this is, if he actually made it, they were the first base team this year to make the top of it because of weather conditions.
Yeah, he was the first team to make it this year.
Yeah.
And it's called Mount Death, people. I mean, isn't this where the Brazilian soccer team went down? Part of the Andes Mountains over there?
I don't know.
Where they ended up eating each other? Speaking of walkers and Undead Wasteland.
But that's that film Alive, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, football.
I don't think that was a Brazilian football team, was it?
Yeah, it was a soccer team.
Or was it? What?
Final bit of news. WWE NXT star Bray Wyatt is on the road with WWE this weekend working live events. He picked up wins over JTG. Fans and critics noted he looked different from the managerial role he's been playing on NXT, and fans also wondered who the hell JTG was.
I thought you were going to say fans in attendance were wondering how JTD still had a job.
I miss JT Titty.
I miss Crime Time. That's why I made him a part of the opening for the Daily Question. I actually miss Crime Time.
Brooklyn. Jake Roberts gets a congratulatory nod from us today. He's been sober for 110 days.
Well done.
Yeah, as soon as you move out from DDP, you'll be back being stoned again. So he has lost over, doing math here, 75 pounds. New York Daily News has named CM Punk their dude of the week.
Dude.
Yeah, he visited the robbery shooting victim, Tim's daughter in Syracuse, New York. That was
you know, if John Cena did something like that, it'd be on WWE.com to no fucking end, and they would never shut the fuck up about it.
CM Punk invited Tom Dodder to a wrestling show Sunday, but the 77-year-old was admitted to the hospital for emergency surgery related to a gunshot wound to the eye he suffered in January during a robbery at his liquor store.
For anyone that's wondering what we're going on about, this is the guy that got shot in the eye, and when he was being interviewed by the press, he said the worst part of the week was The Rock winning the WWE Championship off CM Punk.
Yeah.
This guy is a fucking legend. I hope I'm that crabby and pissed off when I turn fucking 77.
WWE website has published an article looking at The Undertaker's greatest rivals. You want to take a guess on the top 6?
Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Kane. Are 3 of them on it?
Yeah, I wish this website had given me a link to the list, but because I'm scared to go on WWE.com while we're recording because it may start playing God knows what.
Yeah, but there are 3 parts of it. Probably Austin might be part on the Ministry of Darkness. Jake the Snake Roberts should be part of it because that's a very underrated rivalry. Very underrated. Anyone that wants to know about pure wrestling psychology should watch that rivalry.
Kane topped the list at number 1, followed
Understandable.
by Shawn Michaels was number 2, which I don't agree with. Mankind number 3, Steve Austin 4, Triple H number 5, and the Ultimate Warrior was number 20. They did not mention Jake the Snake, but I'm sure he is on there probably along with Hulk Hogan, Yokozuna. God, the Undertaker's had great rivalries with everybody.
And it's amazing when you look back that Undertaker had these rivalries with Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, and Jake the Snake Roberts. And then he went on to have rivalries with Bret Hart, Stone Cold, and The Rock. And then he went on to have Brock Lesnar, Big Show rivalries. And then he went on to have rivalries with the current day guys. It's amazing that this guy... Like, if we ever do an Undertaker special, it would be a long special.
And I would really like to finish this quote because I know you're going to love it and rip Miz a new asshole for it. I love the fact I get to try. When asked about what he liked best about wrestling during an interview in Denver, I love the fact I get to travel all over the world. I've gone everywhere all over America. I've been to China, Mexico, Europe, and Australia. I've gotten to see the world through the WWE. Not only that, when I come out on the stage, I get to hear the reaction of the crowd. Let me tell you something. You might not know this, but a few months ago, people were booing me. They were telling me I sucked and they hated me, but now they're embracing me. It's a whole newfound glory, and I'm loving every second of it. When have the fans embraced The Miz?
I don't know.
I know he's a face, and I'm doing the air quotes, people. People still aren't cheering for The Miz. As close as it got was when The Miz teamed with Del Rio to stick up for Rodriguez against three-man band and one of the worst.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Robert Rodriguez is over more than The Miz.
Yeah, and one of the worst impromptu matches on a WWE pay-per-view in history because it made no sense.
Yeah, Miz gets cheered by 9-year-olds that don't know what the fuck is going on and just cheering for the good guys. Like, I love the old t-shirt that he comes out with. I think he still comes out with "Haters Love Me." And no, they don't. Like, I would admit, Miz is not the worst. He's actually worked his ass off to where he is now. He actually came up a very hard road. Most people just think he came from the real world to WWF, WWE. They don't really know what they're talking about. There was a 3-year gap between the real world and Tough Enough, where he worked independent shows.
Alright, and as we promised on the Facebook page, we'll finish out by thanking our fans for one whole year as my phone beeps. We can't have a podcast if my BlackBerry doesn't make a noise. But,
and I'd just like to thank, before Brian thanks you all, I'd like to thank the man that made this podcast possible, the President of the United States, Braden Walker.
I love that show. We need to get that up on the YouTube. But anyway, where was I? We need to thank the people that are not fans on our Facebook page first that have given the time to come on the show. The Corey J. Udlers, the Justin Henrys. I understand why they don't like a lot of Facebook fan pages because they, have so much going on to do on their other sites like WrestleCrap.com and Blue Bar Cage. And, Corey's, not a wrestling fan, but he's, a horror director, so I can kind of understand why he doesn't like a wrestling webpage.
And I still rate that as one of our best ever shows. I really do.
I'm going to go in order from the newest like to our oldest like, so those that have been here the longest have to wait even longer. Michael J. Smith, Lamont Flo, and I'm sorry if I screw any of these up. G Flames Got Beats, Raymond's Lynn, Mike Jones, Ed Grunion, Justin Davis, Joe Pesci.
You're joking me.
Oh, it's on here.
Class.
Matt Hutsko, Aaron Goins Jr., not the new Aaron Goins, Facebook page, nailed it. Roy Zambrano, Tony Borer, Michael Diaz, Zach Jones, Dennis Kirby, Chris Beverly, Joseph Young, Hector Lopez, Chris Key, Quay Cohen, Luis Anchado, Jacob Tenete, I'm sorry if I butchered these, Bert Jink, Isaac and Fent, Gerald Freeman, Jonathan Goldsmith, Eric Roper Williams, Carlos Tonda, Omar Dunn, Jaquan Thompson, CM Buxton. That's a pretty little ring as the photo. Jonathan Rivera, Amir Williams, Brandon Hayes, Bilal Ahmed, Sandeep Yadav, Mark Henry, WWE Universe, Jeremy Johnston, Gerald Walsh, Lee Callahan, David Close, who's been one of my friends since, good God, probably 25 years. It's my soundboard for the show. Malibu Sean Bateman, our first guest we ever had on the show.
Greetings.
Ed Byers, who's a dirty, dirty old man, and Gerald and myself. So, who knows, folks? You might get your name read one of these days if you just like the page.
You forgot to thank somebody.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Vince McMahon, for giving us
No.
WWE. Oh, thank you, Dixie Carter, for giving us.
No.
Thanks, Gabe, for giving us Ring of Honor.
No.
Thank you to my wife for putting up. Yes. Thank you, Lydia Lapham, for.
You know, Aaron Goins and Roy are just waiting to see what you name him.
James Walsh,
No.
Terry Tiger, Kenneth Pullum,
No.
CM Punk,
No.
John Cena,
No.
Samoa Joe.
You know, you usually say things get old fast. Well, this is getting old first. Will you just tell everybody who you want to say thank you to?
X-Pac.
No. Come on.
Fine, I'll tell you later.
Thank you to, he came on to a few of the shows and he really showed. And I really hope the name is not bleeped out because really did a lot for this show. And he did the John Cena special and he did all that. So thank you to. You really helped us out and I hope you're keeping well. I really hope you don't bleep that out.
Yeah, I can't promise I won't bleep it out, but we do have that cease and desist order that we're not allowed to mention some people. So.
Alright. So, Brian, thank you for 1 year. And thank you to everyone that ever contributed or ever listened to our show. It's been our honor. Thank you.
Always go with the A1. Heinz 57 sucks.